Hi love, welcome back. In today's class you're making this beautiful granny stitch skirt. If you're new to the channel, my name is Miss Ayi and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you my love, thank you darling, thank you baby, thank you sweetheart for always coming back. Let's get right into class. To begin with, you are going to make a magic ring or a magic circle, and this is how I make my magic circle. If you struggle to make a magic circle, you can chain 4 and make a slip stitch in the very first chain to form your circle. After your magic circle, you are going to chain 3 and chain 3 count as your first double crochet. You are going to place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch or inside the ring. So in total we would have 3 double crochets. You are going to chain 1 and place 3 more double crochets inside the ring. So this is 1, 2 and 3. Now you are going to chain 1 and close off the ring. Slip stitch inside the third chain to close off the ring. And this is what you should be having. We are going to start building our skirts from here, and with this, depending on the length of your skirt, I want mine a maxi skirt, so I'm going to chain 73. If you want it shorter, you can reduce the chains, and if you want it more longer, you can as well add the chains, but this is all individual preference. But if you want to follow what I am doing, then you're going to chain 73, and I'm going to be making a maxi skirt. After your 73 chains, you are going to skip 2, and inside the third stitch you are going to make a double crochet. Your skip 2 chains count as a double crochet, so you are going to place a double crochet in the same space, making it 3 double crochet. You are going to yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and inside the third stitch you are going to place 3 double crochets in the same space. You are going to skip 2 again, and inside the third stitch you are going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. You are going to keep doing this until you get to the end of the row, that is the end of the chain space, and I'll meet you there. So when you get to the end of the row and you have 3 stitches, you are going to place your last double crochet in the last stitch. However, if you don't have 3 stitches like me, you are going to place your last 3 double crochet inside the first chain 1 space, or when you were slip stitching that very chain 1 space, you are going to place 3 double crochet there. Now inside the middle chain 1 space, in between the 3 double crochets, we are going to be placing our first corner, and a corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all inside the chain 1 space. So this is 1, 2 and 3. You are going to chain 1 and place 3 more double crochets in the same space. We are going to be creating our second corner, and we are going to be making it inside the chain 1 space right before we made our slip stitch. So you are going to make 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the same stitch. So that would be our second corner. In the same chain 1 space, you are going to place 3 double crochets. So after making your corner, you are going to place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Now you're going to be placing 3 double crochets in the opposite stitches until the end of the row. So the first 3 double crochet, you're going to place 3 double crochet in the opposite stitch. So that's 3. You're going to place 3 double crochet in the next opposite stitch, 3 double crochet all in the same stitch. You are going to keep repeating this until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to place 3 double crochets in the last stitch. And now you are going to chain 2, turn your work. In the very first space, you are going to place 3 double crochets all in the same space. In the next space, you are going to place 3 double crochets all in the same space. So this is row 2. So keep putting 3 double crochets in the space until you get to the corner space. Before you get to the corner space, make sure you place 3 double crochets in the middle of the space before the corner space. So that double crochets would be 6, and if you don't open up, it will be difficult for you to see. So now we are at the corner, and inside the chain 1 space, you are going to place a corner again. So 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets all in the same stitch to form a corner. In the next space, you are going to make 3 double crochets only. And it brings us back to our second corner. So inside the second corner, you are going to make a corner again, and a corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochet all in the same stitch. And 3 double crochets all in the same space. So moving on, we are going to be repeating row 2 until we have row 5. So wherever you see a corner, make sure you place a corner, and a corner is 3 double crochet, chain 1 and 3 double crochet. The rest of the work is going to be 3 double crochets in each space until the end of the row. So keep placing 3 double crochets in each space until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to place your last 3 double crochets inside the very last stitch, 2 and 3. And now we are going to chain 2 or 3 and turn your wick. So in the middle space again, you are going to place 3 double crochets in the same space. In the next stitch, we are going to place 3 double crochets, and we are going to keep repeating row 2 until we have row 5, or until we get to row 5. And this is row 5. And now I'm going to be switching to my second color, and just as we are doing, you are going to chain 2 or 3 and turn your wick. So with the second color, I'm going to again make 5 rows, and the pattern is the same. We are repeating row 2 until we have 5 rows. So you start off by chaining 2 or 3, make 3 double crochets in each stitch, and when you get to the corner space, we have only 2 corners, so you make anywhere you see a corner, you make a corner, and a corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch. So go ahead and repeat 5 of your second color, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my 5. But I'll walk you through so you would see how I did my first row of my second color. So I'm at the corner space, and you are going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch. Now we are going to be placing 3 double crochets in the stitches until we get to our second corner, and we shall repeat. Go ahead and repeat this until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, we are going to place our last 3 double crochets in the chain 2 space. And that is the end of row 1 for our second color. You are going to chain 2 or 3, turn your work, and we are going to repeat the process. So place 3 double crochets in each stitch, and when you get to a corner, make sure you repeat a corner, and a corner again is 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch, and we have only 2 corners. The rest we are going to be placing 3 double crochets in each stitch, and we are going to repeat until we have 5 rows of our second color, and I'll meet you when I have my 5 rows completed. Now we move to our third color, and just as we did for the second color, we are going to be repeating the same exact for our third. So connect your yarn and you are going to chain 2, turn your work, and make sure you cut your second color, and here you can join the 2 and fasten it off, or however you want to do to secure the ends. You can also sew crochet the ends as you go. So the very first space, you are going to place your 3 double crochets. In the next stitch, you are going to place 3 double crochets, and you are going to keep placing 3 double crochets in each stitch until you get to your corner space. And when you get to the corner space, you are going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch, and you repeat for the other corner, and the rest of the work would be 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, always remember to chain 2 or 3, turn, and keep repeating until you have 5 rows. So this is my 5 rows completed, and this is what my work is looking like. So now we are going to be working the length of our skirt before we continue. So you are going to attach your yarn at any corner of your work, and you are going to chain 3. Chain 3 and chain 3 count as your first double crochet. You are going to put 2 double crochets in the same stitch, making it 3, and in the very next stitch you are going to place 3 double crochets, and you are going to keep repeating 3 double crochets in each stitch until you get to the second corner. There you go. So place 3 double crochets until you get to the second corner. So inside the chain 1 space of the second corner, you are going to end it with 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. So now you are going to chain 2, turn your work, and in the very first stitch or the very first space, you are going to place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. So here, if you want your skirt to be longer, if you are a size tall, consider making 4 rows of this continuation before we resume our work. And if you are a shorter person, consider making 2 rows. So work your 3 double crochets, and at the end of the row you are going to place your last double crochet in the very last stitch, chain 1, cut, and fasten your work. So I made only 2 rows, but again, if you are a size tall, consider making 4 rows of going up corner to corner until the end of the row. So now you are going to join your white yarn at where you cut off, where you ended with the third color. You are going to join your 4th color, right? And you are going to chain 3, and in the next stitch you are going to place your 3 double crochets and keep working 3 double crochets in each stitch. So the white is our 4th color, so you are just going to join your 4th color and work 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row, or where you started, where you joined your yarn for the extension. And now when you get there, inside the very open space, you're going to place 3 double crochets, and in the very last open space you are going to create a corner. So a corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same space. So we've created our first corner. So we are going to be working 3 double crochets in each stitch until we get to our second corner. So inside the second corner, we are going to be placing it at where we made the double crochet, chain 1 and cut off our yarn. That is where we are going to place our second corner. So you are going to make 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch to form our second corner. And now moving on, we are going to be working our normal 3 double crochets in each stitch. So in that very next open, you are going to make 3 double crochets in the same space, and we are going to keep repeating 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. So now we've created our corners again, and our work is back to normal. So we are going to make 4 rows of the whites, and I'll meet you when I have 4 rows of my whites, or my 4th color. So I have 4 rows of my whites, and this is what your work should be looking like. Now we are going to be making an extension again, and this time again we are going to join at the corner, and we are going to chain 2 or 3. Chain 2 or 3, count as your first double crochet. In the same space we are going to place 2 more double crochets, and now we are going to be making 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row, or until we get to the next corner. This time we are going to be making 4 rows of the extension, but if you are making for a size tall, or if you are tall, consider making 6 rows of the extension. So we've placed our last 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space of the corner. So now we are going to chain 2, turn our work. So this is row 2 of the extension. In the very next stitch, we are going to place 3 double crochets in the same stitch. We are going to keep repeating 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row, or until we get to the other side of the extension. So at the other side of the extension, we are going to place a double crochet, and we are going to chain 3. Turn your work. So this is row 3 of the extension. So in the very same stitch, you are going to place 2 more double crochet in the same stitch. Remember, our chain 3 count as a double crochet. You are going to place 3 double crochets in each stitch until you get to the other side of your work. Row 4 of the extension, we are going to chain 3, and in the next stitch we are going to place our 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row and make a double crochet. Now we are going to make one last row of the white. So I've already worked from the top, and I'm just going to show you. So just connect your work where you cut your whites from where you ended the row 4. just join back your white yarn again and make 3 double crochets in each stitch. And when you get to the corner, the last end, that's the corner, you are going to place 3 double crochet, chain 2 or chain 1 and 3 double crochet in the same stitch, and go ahead and place 3 double crochets in each stitch until you get to the second corner, and we shall repeat. So place 3 double crochets in each stitch until you get to the second corner. So when you get to the second corner, you are going to place 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets, all in the same stitch. Now go ahead and place 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row, and we are done with our rows. You are going to go ahead and repeat the same exact thing for the other side of the panel. So it's going to be 2 identical panels. Wherever we started, however we started from here, if you started with a chain 73, you are going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for the other panel, and I'll meet you when I have both of my panels completed. So just work your last white row and go and make a second panel, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my second panel. So if you are done with your work, chain 1, cut and fasten your yarn, and repeat the same exact process for the second panel. This is what your work should be looking like. Mine measures 30 inches. It's not as long, but don't worry, we are going to be working few extra rows at the end of the skirts to get the required length. So I've gone ahead to make my second panel, and this is what the work should be looking like. We are going to be attaching both panels together to form our skirts, and with attaching, you can either attach your work with slip stitch, with darning needle, or a single crochet. With these tutorials, I'm going to be using 2 methods. I'm going to be stitching one side with slip stitches, so make sure your work is aligned, and insert your hook inside both panels and pull through. So just make sure your works are aligned, so all the squares can be facing each other, so you see it properly to stitch. And remember, it's 3 double crochets, so you are doing 3 stitches in each cluster. So make sure it's aligned very well. There you go. And make your slip stitches, or you can use your darning needle, whichever way works perfect for you. Please do that. So we are going to be slip stitching until the end of the row, and I'll meet you at the end of the row, but I'll walk you through a few more so you can see how I'm putting my piece together. So at the end of the row, we are going to be making our last slip stitch, and you are going to chain 1 or 2, cut and fasten your yarn. So we are done attaching one side, so onto the next you are going to turn your work, and you can either choose to attach it again with slip stitch, or I'm going to show you another method. This is if you want your skirt to be wide, so attaching it with granny squares only increase your work. So chain 2 in the very first space of your front panel. You are going to place 3 double crochets, and in the opposite space we are going to place a single crochet. Now make 3 double crochets in the next space, so 3 double crochets in the same stitch, and in the opposite stitch you are going to make a single crochet. 3 double crochets in the front panel or the opposite stitch, and you are going to make a single crochet into the very opposite or the back panel. So keep repeating this until the end of the row. This is also another method and is very seamless until the end of the row. Now at the end of the row, you don't cut your yarn because we are just going to use the same white yarn to make the borders of our skirt. So go ahead and make sure you've tightened and secured the threads from our previous work, and when you finish doing that, you are going to chain 2. Inside the very next stitch you are going to place 3 double crochets, and now inside the next space we are going to place 3 double crochets. So we are working in between the spaces, that small tiny holes. So we are going to be placing 3 double crochets in the tiny holes. So you figure that I didn't cut all my tail ends because I want to work through as I go to secure it properly. So when you get to where you started from, you are going to make a slip stitch. So go ahead and make 3 double crochets. Now when you get to the other side, the middle center, you are only going to make a double crochet inside the middle. We are not going to place 3 double crochet in that where you stitch. So the stitching will be back and front, and that space you are only going to put a double crochet, and go ahead and place 3 double crochets in each space until the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 2 space, and this is row 1 of the skirt, the border. Now row 2 you are going to chain 2, and row 2 is going to be a double crochet row. So you are going to place double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. But with this, if you are making if you want the waist to be a bit tighter, you are going to make 3 double crochets in each stitch, and in the 4th and 5th stitch you would decrease and make 3 double crochets in the next 3 stitches, and decrease in the 4th and 5th stitch, 3 double crochets and decrease, 3 double crochets and decrease. You are going to keep repeating this until the end of the row. Again, if you are okay with the waist, just go ahead and make double crochets all throughout. At the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of the chain 2, and the last row you are going to chain 2, and with this last row is just going to be double crochet rows. So go ahead and place double crochet in each stitch, and at the end of the row you slip stitch, cut and fasten your yarn, and this is what I have. So we'll sew in all loose ends when we are done with the work. Now with the length, this is what our work should be looking like, the waist. And now to the length, you are going to attach your work. So choose where you want to be the front of your work and the back of your work. Now turn your work to the right side. As you can see, my right side is facing me, and attach your yarn at the middle point of your back where you want to be your back, and you are going to chain 3 count as your first double crochet. In the same space, you are going to place 2 more double crochet, making it 3 double crochets in the same stitch. In the next space, you are going to place 3 double crochets, and we are going to keep placing 3 double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. So this is how to add more length to your skirts. So we are just going to be going around repeating it until you have your desired length for the skirts. So at the end of the row, you are going to slip stitch on top of your chain 1 space, and go ahead and keep repeating this until you have your desired length for the skirt. I made about 4 rows more, and this is what the skirt looks like. Let's go ahead and cut all loose ends and put it on the mannequin to see how the work looks like. This is how our work looks like, and you can see I ran out of yarn, so I couldn't continue making the length, but I'll still do that. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a heart sign under the comment section. Until we meet next week, it's bye bye.